my fake tears.
Gertie,
You gonna play that game?
Gertie,
don't play dumb.
Gertie,
don't play dumb. You play
Gertie,
dumb.
stop. You're dumb. Don't.
You're absolutely playing dumb. I said playing dumb.
Whatever. Don't come at me with that.
You did it on purpose and you canceled it.
You know, I can't win with you, and I'm sorry about that. I feel like I can't win with you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 6, Episodes 16 and 17, and we know that Episode 17 is the finale. Now, it's a double recap. When we get to the finale episode, when it comes to that last scene between Gertie and Larsa, I have a few unpopular opinions about that, and hear me out. I think that a few of you guys might feel the same way, but ultimately I feel like it was a very stupid argument that did not need to happen. And I was aggravated just watching it because at the end of the day, that was Adriana's event, that was her time, that was her moment. And it honestly felt like people got distracted and they all forgot why they were there. I feel like ultimately that whole conversation could have waited. But anyhow, without further ado, let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. Now we see everybody in their hotel rooms getting ready because they're going to be going to the market to do some shopping. So we see Lisa in glam, and as she's getting ready, we see Nicole come in her room because the night before got a bit heated between her and Kiki. I still stand by what I said in the previous double recap. I'm glad that Kiki ate Lisa all the way up. Lisa has been insufferable this entire season. Very unlikable, extremely self-absorbed, and she acts as if she's the only person who's ever gone through a tough time. And to hear her tell it, you would think that she was the only person ever to get a divorce. So Nicole's asking Lisa about family support, if she's close to her family, and Lisa says that her mom is actually going to visit Miami next week. Now, I was shocked to hear this, and we'll talk more about this later on, but I clearly remember Lisa saying that she was estranged from everybody in her family and how it was a very toxic situation and that she had no family support, how Lenny and his family were pretty much her family. So to hear her say now that her mom is coming in, I'm like, girl, we are 6 seasons in, and we have never seen your mom. We haven't even heard you mention her. Now we get some more information about Lisa's parents. We find out that they're still legally married, but they're not together. They don't sleep in the same bed together, and it's been like that for a while. So Lisa goes on to say that her mom is super old school, and she most likely wanted to stay together just for appearances. Now Lisa goes into the whole situation of how she left home at 16 because it wasn't a comfortable environment. She's not really clear on what exactly went down, but we just know that she left at 16 and moved in with a boyfriend. Then we find out at 18, she moved in with another boyfriend. And then she goes on to say that she feels like she picks men like that who will save her because she has daddy issues. And it seems like there's a pattern with Lisa and that she's never been able to stand on her own 2 feet. So I think that's another reason why this divorce is so crippling to her, because it's forcing her to be an adult and really be independent and figure this out for herself. But anyhow, Nicole shares her story about how she has daddy issues too. We all know the story about Nicole and her dad. He wasn't around. He had gone to prison. And my condolences to Dr. Nicole, because we all found out in November that her father passed away unexpectedly. And then the fact that they were just starting to rebuild their relationship too. So again, my heart goes out to Dr. Nicole, and I'm sending her all my thoughts and prayers. So now we see everybody on the Sprinter van headed to the market, and Nicole makes mention of how Kiki actually said hello to Lisa in the lobby, and Kiki says, I'm willing to move past it. I'm not trying to hold a grudge. My only issue is that Lisa needs to be more considerate and think about other people. It's not all about her. Alexia said, girl, wishful thinking, good luck with that. Marisol and I have known her for 12 years, and she's always been self-centered. She's always been in her own world. So good luck with her caring about anybody else. And we even see a clip from the day before where Marisol was telling her all about her vow renewal in Europe. And Lisa's like, wait, what? Who are we talking about? Again, Lisa is somebody where if it's not about her, she doesn't care. it goes in one ear and out the other. And that's a hard person to be friends with. You really can't be friends with somebody who's self-centered. So they're at the market, everybody's buying souvenirs to bring back home, and now we finally see Kiki and Lisa face to face, and Kiki says, Lisa, can we talk? Kiki says, I understand that things got heated last night and I feel horrible. I said, Kiki, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't say anything wrong. You said what we all were thinking. This was a much needed wake-up call for Lisa, that she's not the center of the universe. I know you have a good heart, sis, but again, don't beat yourself up, because I think a whole lot of us would have said a lot worse. Because Lisa, like I said, is insufferable. So now Lisa says that we're both at fault, and then she apologizes for saying, I can't fix your childhood trauma, and then proceeds to say that because of this divorce with Lenny, it has her angrier than ever. And again, Lisa, there's such a thing as going to therapy. It would not hurt you to talk to a licensed therapist and get all your issues out. Because dumping your problems on all your friends day in and day out, making this the topic of conversation every time you guys get together, that's a no. So they hug it out and they're back to being friends again. And honestly, I'm happy that there's no more drama, there's no more beef, everybody's happy. Well, it seems like there's still some beef at the reunion, because when they played that trailer, Kiki and Lisa go at it. So they're all finished shopping, and now we see everybody going back to the hotel, minus Lisa and Nicole, because they're headed back to Miami. So now the group is back at the hotel. They're all getting ready for Larsa's tequila tasting and dinner. Now we see Larsa in her room. She's on the phone with Marcus and she's saying how she's excited for them to try her new tequila. We find out from Larsa that she's already spent $800,000 on this tequila line. And I said, it seems like everybody and their mother has a tequila line. And it's no shade, but I'm like, how many tequilas can we drink? You have George Clooney's with Casamigos, you have Kathy Hilton's, you have Kendall Jenner's 818, I think Kevin Hart has a tequila, The Rock has a tequila, Lisa Barlow has Vita tequila, and now we have Larsa Pippen with her tequila. Alexia wasn't here for it. She was like, I mean, that's great that Larsa has all these businesses, but I don't like the way she presents everything. To insinuate that she's by herself and I have Todd to rely on, I don't like that, because she's still living off of Sky's retirement money. And I'm like, yeah, Larsa, don't act like you got it out the mud by yourself. You got half of Scotty's money. You got his retirement, his pension plan as well. So girl, you're doing just fine. So I don't know why you're acting like, you know, you're just picking yourself up from the bootstraps. Because that's not the case. And also, ever since Miami came back, Larsa has been peddling a new business since season 4. I remember when she was peddling the dog collars. She had the collaboration with Pretty Little Thing. Then it was the jewelry line. And now it's tequila. I said in season 7, what's the next hustle gonna be? So now the ladies arrive at the restaurant. And before they're seated for dinner, it's time for them to have a tequila tasting with Larsa's tequila. So they're all taste testing it. So I don't know how things went from 0 to 60 between Alexia and Larsa, because they start going at it. And Larsa says, I just want you to support me because I work really hard. And Alexia says, girl, we all work really hard. It's not just you. Then Alexia says, I mean, you've been working hard on this tequila line for 2 minutes. And I said, the shade of it all. I don't know what it is, but I noticed that Alexia gets real funny and jealous when somebody else is opening up a business or something. It just seems like Alexia also gets kind of jealous when the focus isn't on her. And mind you, 2 things can be true at the same time. Larsa definitely does do a lot. She swears that she's just, you know, some woman who had to get it out the mud when that's not the case. But Alexia does seem a bit petty and a bit haterish, just being so dry at the tequila tasting. It's like, girl, you're already there. Just taste her tequila, slap a smile on your face, and just stop. And it was definitely petty when Alexia started toasting to all their businesses. I said, Alexia. So here's where things get weird. Larsa shows them this diamond necklace that she had, and it's of her tequila brand, right? I think it was the logo, and it's a cute diamond necklace, but again, it's a necklace of her brand, right? So I don't really know who's going to wear that. So anyhow, she says that there wasn't enough time to make all 6 necklaces for everybody in this group, so she was only able to have 3 made. And because they're celebrating Kiki and Julia's birthdays, she's going to give each one of them a necklace. And they were all like, girl, what? Kiki said, wait, you're giving me a diamond necklace with your brand on it? What am I, a walking billboard? I said, Larsa, I guess it's the thought that counts. I saw that you were upset with what Kiki said, and you blasted her on your Instagram saying, what have you ever given me? I'm a better friend to you than you are to me. We know that Larsa has a very reckless mouth. She will shade somebody like that. So if the shoe were on the other foot, she would say, oh, really? You couldn't get me a necklace from Tiffany's or somewhere? Or David Yurman? You're giving me this branded necklace of your brand? I don't think so. So Larsa's tequila tasting is over, and now it's time for them to go upstairs and have some dinner. So they start talking about how far they've come as a group. Larsa says that even though they fight sometimes, they still are a good group. Alexia says that they've all come a long way, and Adriana co-signs. She says, oh, we've come a really long way because this time last year when we were all in the Bahamas, that trip was a mess. We were both divided into 2 groups. And if you would have told me that you and I and me and Marisol would be cool, I wouldn't have believed you. So Larsa wants to play a friendly game, and she says, let's go around the table and ask each other which trait would they borrow from somebody. So I think Larsa says that she would borrow Kiki's bubbly personality and how happy she is. So of course Adriana's shady, and she says that she would take Marcus. So Larsa's like, girl, what? So now you have Julia being messy, and she's asking Larsa if Larsa is the jealous type. So Larsa's like, well, not really, but if somebody's, really trying to push up on him, then I might get jealous, but for the most part, we're cool. And because Julia has been so desperate for some screen time and for a moment, she starts getting really messy, and she's like, does Michael Jordan approve of your relationship? So anytime you bring up Michael Jordan, Larsa starts stammering and stuttering. Kat's got her tongue. She's like, because she hates bringing him up. And I said, girl, you always get defensive because you know that he doesn't approve. And you know that this relationship looks crazy. There's no way to slice it. So Larsa starts talking about how his mom loves them together and how she posted a picture of them on Instagram, and Juanita posted 3 hearts under the picture. I said, girl, okay. To hear Larsa tell it, she's the apple of Marcus Jordan's family's eye. I said, please know that Juanita is giving you the side eye, like, why are you with my son? So Larsa says that Michael Jordan is fine with the relationship, and then she goes on to say that she hates being asked that. Now, Larsa, as messy as you are, as much as you stir the pot and get into other people's business, you can't be tight-lipped when now it's your turn. Larsa, you're in the public eye, you're dating Michael Jordan's son, who's, 16, 17 years younger than you are. So what do you expect? Your ex-husband and his father were teammates for 6 years. So I don't know why you're upset that people are pressing you on, does Michael Jordan approve of this? Because this whole situation is weird. So Marisol interjects and lets them know that she's going away on her summer vacation in Europe with her man, and they're going to be having a vow renewal in Scotland. Now, mind you, Marisol and her man, Steve, they're not even legally married. So when she said vow renewal, I was thrown for a loop with that. But I said, girl, if you like it, I love it. But now it's time for Kiki and Julia to blow out the candles on their cakes because remember, it's their birthdays. And now Marisol brings out the pinata that she bought earlier at the market, and the pinata had a whole bunch of dildos. So they're throwing the dildos around the restaurant. The way all the other patrons and the employees were looking like, what is going on? I said, I hope you guys made sure to take the dildos back with you to the hotel. I hope you didn't leave them there. So now everybody's back in Miami, and we see Dr. Nicole out to lunch with her father and her father's girlfriend, who's in her 30s. She's the same age as Nicole. So I was expecting this to go left, but it surprisingly went well. Dr. Nicole and her dad's girlfriend hit it off really well. They were having a fun time. I was too through because at one point the girlfriend said that, you know, they talk about kids all the time. And Nicole's dad said, listen, I said, I'm going to have some more kids, whether it's with you or with somebody else. And they were both like, what? I really felt bad watching that scene because all I could think about is the fact that these were some of Nicole's final moments with her dad. Because again, he passed away this past November. So watching this scene, I got a bit choked up because he's talking about having more kids. And then we find out that a few months later, he's no longer here. But I'm just happy that Dr. Nicole and her dad made peace before he left. So that warms my heart. But I always have a soft spot because I lost my dad. It'll be 3 years in May. So just seeing that scene, I got choked up. But I am happy that Dr. Nicole and her dad got closer. So now we see Alexia and Julia hanging out. They're at a petting zoo. And now Adriana calls Julia and she's like, hey girl, what's going on? How are you doing? Have you seen the latest news? Michael Jordan is in Europe right now and a reporter asked him if he approves of Marcus and Larsa and he said no. So Alexia says, girl, the whole world saw it. So Julia says, I straight up asked her in Mexico, did Michael Jordan approve? And she said yes. She goes on to say, I don't know if Larsa is lying to herself or lying to us. And honestly and truthfully, Larsa is in heavy denial. And also with Larsa, she's somebody who wants to hear and believe what she wants to hear and believe. And if it goes against what she wants to believe and think, then it's going to be a problem. And she'll either A, lie to herself, or B, try to rewrite the narrative. But you could tell when Julia asked her the question that she was uncomfortable because she knows that Michael Jordan does not approve. So one thing about Adriana is proud to be messy. And she goes on to say, well, girls, I'm actually going to play pickleball with Larsa and Kiki later on, so I'll be sure to ask Larsa all about this. I said, baby, I love how Adriana stands 10 toes down in her mess. She lets it be clear that she is there to find out all the tea. So we get to the last scene of the episode, and Larsa, Kiki, and Adriana are playing pickleball. So they take a break, and Larsa says, oh, do you guys want to see the flowers that Marcus bought me? And he wrote on the card that I'm a great mom and a great wife. So they both say, wait, what? Wife? So one thing about Adriana's not going to beat around the bush. She's like, girl, enough with this small talk. Did you see the Michael Jordan video? So Larsa's like, what video? And they both say, girl, there's a video of him going around. A reporter asked him if he approves of you and Marcus. And he says no. So Kiki's like, what the hell is going on? So, of course, Larsa is embarrassed. She's stuttering. She's annoyed. She goes on to say, I feel like I'm being interrogated, like I'm on trial. And I said, Larsa, the way you question people, I just really hate that. Larsa is another person who wants to be the villain and the victim at the same time. And you can't be both. You dish it out, so you need to be able to take it. I'm just so sick and tired of her acting like she's exempt from folks getting on her. So they play Larsa the video and she's like, oh, well, he was laughing when he said it. And I said, girl, like Wendy Williams used to say, denial is a river in Egypt. Now, Larsa, how are you guys fine, but you've yet to see Michael Jordan since you and Marcus have started dating? Does that make sense to you? You've been around Juanita a handful of times since you and Marcus have been together, but yet you haven't even seen Michael Jordan one time, and you want us to believe that things are okay and that he approves? So Adriana is pouring salt in a wound. She says, well, if I were you, I'd be hurt. So Larsa says, well, I'm not hurt because everything is fine behind closed doors. And I said, is it? Are we sure about that? You just said that you haven't seen Michael Jordan since you guys started dating. So I'm not believing that things are fine. You want them to be fine in your ideal world, but you have to look at things as how they are, not what you hope that they will be someday. So Kiki says, what's going on? And now Larsa says, this is embarrassing and please stop saying his name. I said, girl, just for that, I would have kept saying Michael Jordan like 80 times just to annoy her. Because who are you to tell them don't say his name? This is what happens when you date Michael Jordan's son. And don't forget, your ex-husband was Michael Jordan's teammate. So I don't understand why you're upset that people have questions and comments and concerns. But that's where episode 16 ends. And now we jump right into the finale episode. Now, just a quick side note. I know that last week, Larsa and Marcus have broken up over Super Bowl weekend, but it seems like they're back together now. They're refollowing each other back on Instagram. They took some pictures outside of a floral shop, so who knows? I don't know if it's a PR stunt, but I think it's interesting that they broke up, now they're back together. We'll find out, I guess, in season 7. But anyhow, we open up the finale episode with Larsa in her penthouse and Marcus is over and she's telling him all about what happened the other day when she went to play pickleball with Adriana and Kiki. So she says, they were asking me about what your dad said and I felt so embarrassed. Then she goes on to add that she's not trying to discuss Michael Jordan commenting on their relationship. So now Larsa says that she would prefer if Marcus spoke about his dad instead of her. So now we see Larsa and Marcus in a confessional together. And Marcus tells a story about what happened. He says that his dad was in Paris. A reporter asked him about their relationship, if he approved of it, and he said no. Then he goes on to say that he wasn't surprised by it because his dad texted him beforehand, letting him know that he was going to say that. So Marcus says that he thought it was funny and how they're good. Michael Jordan approves. And honestly, the story sounds like BS. Why would your parent say, I don't approve, if they really do approve? Like, it's not making sense. It's not adding up. The math ain't mathin'. I think that Marcus knows that his dad does not approve of this, and he's trying to save face and not embarrass him or his girlfriend. But I wasn't buying that story about, oh, well, yeah, my dad said no, but it was actually funny. It was a joke. You don't joke like that. Why would you want to purposely embarrass your child? Why would you want to hurt them and their girlfriend? So again, it sounds like BS to me, and I feel like they're both in denial, and they're both trying to save face because they know that Michael Jordan does not approve. But Marcus goes on to add that if there were any red flags, Michael Jordan would have told him about it, but that's not the case. Now, when the producer asked them if they've hung out with Michael Jordan, and Marcus said, yes, we have. I've actually never introduced my dad to any of my other girlfriends before. I didn't believe it. I think that these are all lies because in the last episode, I could have sworn that Larsa said that they haven't met. So I'm not buying this. I'm not. It's just, again, y'all, I think that they both feel silly that Michael Jordan does not approve of their union. What do y'all think? Let me know. Then Larsa goes on to say that she would never want to come in between her boyfriend and his parents' relationship. And then she says that her parents want to see her happy and she's the happiest she's ever been with Marcus. I'm sure you are, girl, because Michael Jordan, isn't he a billionaire? And I know that Marcus has a hefty inheritance, and I know that you can't wait to sink your teeth into that to secure another bag. So I would be excited too. So now we jump on over to Gertie going to Nicole's house and they sit down to talk. Gertie says that the Mexico City trip was a hot mess, and it really was, because not only were they going back and forth, it was Kiki versus Lisa. Then Gertie got sick on the gondola. She was taken off to the hospital on an IV. Just a hot mess all the way around. But now we see them talking about Nicole's pregnancy journey. We know that Nicole wants a second child, and she's actually pregnant right now, I think with a baby girl. And now they change gears, and Gertie brings up this recent article or this podcast episode that Larsa did where she revealed that somebody on the cast bit her when they were in Mexico City. Now we see the clip of when they were on the gondola and Larsa and Gertie were joking around, and Gertie bites Larsa on her shoulder. It was a harmless, playful bite. It was no big deal, okay? It was just all in good fun, laughing, friends being silly. It was nothing that needed to be talked about, right? So Larsa mentioned it, and Gertie's angry. She's like, I thought that we were keeping secrets. Like, you've been saying, don't mention me in the press, so why would you say this? Now, Gertie, I will say, Larsa did not say your name. She just said that somebody on the cast bit her. So she didn't say your name. So I felt like you were sort of dragging this, in my opinion. And Gertie's really upset about it. She definitely wants to confront Larsa the next time she sees her. And we know that Adriana has invited all of them to her party releasing her new song with Emilio Estefan. So that's going to be the time where she addresses Larsa about this. So anyhow, Gertie goes on to say, have some compassion and some grace. And then she says, worry about the fact that Michael Jordan doesn't like you, sweetie. I said, Gertie's activated. Now, let me add one more thing. I definitely do understand why Gertie might have some resentment built up towards Larsa because of what Larsa did in this first half of the season. Larsa was out of line to reveal Gertie's news. That was not her place. And she high-key stole Gertie's moment. Because when you tell somebody else's big news, whether it's good or bad, you are stealing their thunder. And when it comes to someone's health, they deserve to share what they want to share when they want to share it. So Larsa definitely deserves all the smoke for what she did earlier on because she was dead ass wrong. There's no way around that. So now we jump over to Alexia. She's in her new apartment. Remember how she had to move out of her gorgeous penthouse in a month's time? So she's in her new place. She says that they had no choice but to take this place. It was the only apartment available. So now we see her, Frankie, and Peter unpacking boxes. And now Peter and Alexia go off into her room to discuss Frankie. So Alexia brings up how she's been working on her estate planning and what would happen to her boys when she goes. So she says, obviously, you guys will be fine financially, but I'm just worried about who's going to watch over Frankie when I'm not here. So she wants to know if Peter will be up to the challenge. And Peter's like, yeah, I love him. That's my brother. That's my heart. Like, I got him. And when you pass, he's going to live with me. I'll take care of him. I need to make sure that my future wife is on board with this because I'm going to always have Frankie's back. I thought that was touching. I'm happy to see Peter actually be mature for once. I think every time we've seen Peter, it's been some mess. It's been some craziness. He's always in and out of jail. He's always on some charges. So it was nice to see that he wants to assume responsibility and that he does care about his brother. Now we jump over to Lisa. Lisa's at home and we see her mom and her aunt come over. When I tell y'all, I was shocked because we all remember in the earlier seasons when Lisa joined this show, she clearly stated that she was estranged from her family. So to find out that her and her mom speak and they're relatively close, I couldn't believe it. But anyhow, we find out that Lisa and Jody are going away on a cute vacation and she has flown her mom and aunt out to watch her kids. Now, did anybody catch Lisa's mom's Jamaican accent? We find out that Lisa's mom grew up very poor in Jamaica. And I remember Lisa talking about that vaguely earlier on. She said that her mom was Jamaican. She wouldn't go into more detail, but that's all she said. So I wasn't too surprised because I remember Lisa saying that she was mixed with a whole lot. So Lisa says that her mom used to visit pretty frequently, but then she stopped because of Lenny's attitude. Now, I find that hard to believe, Lisa, because you were married to Lenny for 15 years and not once did we ever see your mom come around. So I don't know if I believe this, oh yeah, my mom used to visit all the time, but she stopped only recently because of Lenny. I don't know if I buy that. I feel like Lisa was somebody who separated herself once she got with the rich man. And now that he's tossed her aside, now she wants to come crawling back and saying, oh yeah, Mom, I miss you so much. That's what it feels like to me. So Lisa's mom says that she never liked Lenny. He was always cold, always cruel. There was one time where she was talking to him and he literally walked away from her while she was mid-sentence. So we find out on Lisa and Lenny's wedding day, Marina came up to Lisa's family, and Marina is Lenny's mom, and she said to them, refer to me as Mrs. Hochstein and Professor Hochstein. And Lisa says that with Lenny's family, they pretty much feel like if you're not on the same level wealth-wise, if you don't have anything, they can't be bothered to speak to you. Now, Lisa, let me just stop right here. And when I collabed with Donna earlier today, we were talking about it. If you haven't checked out our video, check it out. But we had a fabulous conversation, talked about everything and then some. But when I was talking to Donna, I said, I think it's interesting that now Lisa wants to cry about how Lenny's family was so snobby and so rude, but when they were happily married, it was all good. Because I'm telling you right now, there would be no way in hell that somebody could speak to my family poorly like that and I don't check them. And again, Lisa, where was all this mouth about how rude he was to your family? Where was that earlier on? Like I said, it just feels like Lisa is upset now because now she's on the outs with Lenny. So now she wants to bash him and say, oh, he's a snob and his family's just so rude and they look down on people. You should have checked him earlier on, like absolutely not. You will respect my family. You're not going to talk to them any kind of way. You're not going to look your nose down on them. That's not going to happen. But Lisa is somebody, in my opinion, where she doesn't care until she's affected. Very interesting to me, but it was nice to finally meet Lisa's mom and her aunt. The scene with Julia at her farm showing Adriana around and how she wants to renovate it and sell her jams and preserves for $30. When I tell you I have no interest, I think that Julia is so boring and this can be her last season. Great gowns, beautiful gowns, but I do not think that Julia is a fit for this show. I'm just like, she brings nothing. And again, it's no shade, but everybody's not meant to be a real housewife. And I wonder if Martina is tight with the purse strings because Julia talking about she has to raise money and sell these jams to buy hay. I'm like, baby, you are married to a tennis superstar who made millions. And you guys are living in that gorgeous $10 million home on Miami Beach. I know Martina has money. Is she not giving you money? Is your check from the show not enough? Because I'm confused. Now, definitely, without a doubt, the most moving scene of this entire episode. Gertie's in her closet, Russell's there with her, and she is making the decision to shave her hair off because she knows that when she goes on chemo, it's going to come out. So she's like, you know what? Let me have control over this one thing. So we see Gertie and Russell cut her braids out, and as they're both cutting them out, before he shaves her head, she's getting more and more emotional. And my heart really went out to her because as a woman, I think I speak for most women, but hair is a huge deal, especially with Black women. There is so much history with our hair. And hair is connected to your beauty and your youth and vitality, all of that. And I can only imagine how emotional that was for her to have to cut it all off and then shave it. And the fact that she had Russell right by her side, that's a testament to he really signed up for better or for worse, sickness and in health. And when Russell started shaving her head and she was like, Russell, stop. And he was just like, babe, like, keep your head straight. And he just kept shaving, and he finished. And it was so touching when he said, it doesn't look bad at all. You look beautiful. And Gertie is a beautiful woman because, honey, when she came out in that confessional and said, okay, I'm ready, stunning, gorgeous. I said, Gertie, that's how you take your power back. I said, come through. A very powerful scene, a very emotional scene. And I think that it's beautiful that she had her husband cut her hair off. And I think that was a really special moment that they shared, and it shows that he really has her back. I said, if anybody is couples goals out of any of these housewives, it's definitely Gertie and Russell. So now it's the night of Adriana's party, and she's getting glammed up. She's excited to release her new song and perform it for the crowd. And we see Marisol FaceTime her. And the way Adriana said, is Marisol okay? Because the fact that she's calling me up, knowing that we just got back cool a few weeks ago, I'm in shock. So Marisol says that despite all the issues that she's had with Adriana, she's a forgiving person and she's a lover. I said, are you sure about that? Because when I think of Marisol, I do not see the epitome of forgiveness and grace. So now they get off the phone and now we see everybody arriving to the party. So when I tell y'all, I thought everybody looked great. I thought Kiki's outfit was gorgeous. Dr. Nicole with that red dress, I said, girl, come through. Dr. Nicole always kills it. She always gives a good look. Gertie and Alexia looked good. I like both of their outfits. And they were low-key twinning because they both had black and white on. So Lisa, Larsa, and Jody walk in, and Gertie was not here for it. The way she was ignoring Larsa, I said, can we please just have a peaceful night? Like, let everybody stay in their respective corners, okay? It's all about Adriana tonight. We see that Anna's there, and I said, Adriana, you are so shady for that because you know that the ladies do not mess with Anna. And it seems like Anna wants to be back on this show. I know she does interviews. She has a podcast where she's bashing all the women, calling them ugly and dumb and stupid. But it's like, girl, you hate them so badly, but you want to be around them. How does that work? And I wonder if Bravo is low-key trying to soft launch Anna and have her come back for season 7. Alexia sees Anna. She ignores her. She says, I don't know who invited Anna, but I'm not leaving this party because I look too good. So Larsa says that Marcus would have joined her, but he's out of town right now. Then she brings up Michael Jordan and how he does approve of their relationship. So Julia's making faces. She's not buying it. And now they get into it. So Julia says that she just wants Larsa to be honest and share things with them. Larsa says, I do share things with you guys. Then she goes on to say that if they want to talk to Marcus about this, then call him up, but she's not doing it. So now she goes on this rant about how Marcus and her are full-blown adults and they don't need anybody's permission. Then she starts questioning Julia if Julia needs permission. And I'm like, Larsa, you make yourself look bad when you get so defensive. If you say that Michael Jordan approves and he likes you guys together, then let that be it. Let folks think what they think. You're not going to please everybody. Everybody's not going to believe you. Somebody's always going to have something to say. But if you're happy, if you're at peace with your life, if you can lay your head down on your pillow each night happily and at peace, then why do you care what Julia or anybody else thinks? Just let it go. But you getting all upset and saying, well, I don't need permission. I'm an adult. Do you need permission? You show right there that something's not quite right. Because why are you so defensive? And even Julia clocked it. Julia said, you get so defensive for no reason. But Larsa ends the conversation by saying that if Marcus's parents didn't approve, then she wouldn't stay with him, but they do approve and they're good with it. And I said, again, girl, if that's your story, then okay, great. Now we cut to Adriana still in her dressing room. She's getting ready to change into her outfit and Emilio Estefan comes in. Now I said, Emilio, where's Gloria at? I said, every time they're together, I notice that little flirtation. And Emilio being worth $700 million and Adriana is a beautiful divorcee. I said, Gloria, you better keep your eye out. But she's telling Emilio how nervous, how excited she is. They share a big hug. I said, But Emilio says that she's going to do a great job. And then I think he says he's going to play the drums for her, or I forgot the instrument, but he says he's going to play for her. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? Like, I can't believe this. This is amazing. And I said, So we jump back to everybody else enjoying the party. And Larsa goes on this whole tangent about how they all need to spend more time with each other and make more time, and how her and Nicole have grown closer. So Nicole co-signs that the other day her and Larsa were on the phone for 45 minutes and how they've really come a long way. So now Gertie interjects and she says, at the end of the day, the Mexico trip was very important to me. I feel like we all bonded on the trip, especially with you. So she's pointing at Larsa. So now she brings up their argument that they got into on the first day of the trip. And she says, you asked for me to stop talking about you to the press, but lo and behold, a few days later, you do the same thing. So now Larsa gets defensive and she says, but did I say names though? And Gertie says, that's not the point, don't play dumb. So anytime there's an argument with Larsa, things are always going to go left. So Larsa's upset. She says, girl, it's like I can't win with you. You're always finding something to be upset with me about. Now, Larsa, let me just stop you right now. Because in the first half of this season, Gertie had every right to get in your behind. Because you had no right to tell her news about her breast cancer to anybody else, especially when she told you, do not say a word. So what you won't do is play victim and act like you weren't wrong in this first half of the season, because that wasn't your place. You did it on purpose. That's why you divulged her business before she could tell anybody. So you deserved all the smoke for that. Let's be very clear. So Gertie goes on to say that she's disappointed in Larsa, and Larsa starts screaming, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So Gertie says, no, you're not. And Larsa gets so angry, she says, I feel bad for you, Gertie. Go take care of your health. Now, Larsa, in my opinion, I would have just walked away. You saying, Gertie, I feel bad for you, go take care of your health, and you're yelling while you say that, that did not come across as a caring friend who really wants to make sure that their friend is okay and isn't arguing or getting their stress levels up. I feel like that was in poor taste for you to say that. Then Larsa goes on to say, I thought it was funny, I never said any names, and mind you, Kiki had gone to use the restroom, so now she's back and she's confused at what happened. She's like, why are you guys fighting? Who bit who? Are we vampires? Bravo, stop playing around, and please make sure that Kiki is full-time next season. Kiki is reality TV gold, okay? I think that Kiki has had a breakout season. It has definitely been her time to shine. So, like I told y'all earlier on, and I even talked about it on Twitter, here are my unpopular opinions. Gertie, I feel like this argument went on way too long. When you kept asking the same question, well, why did you say it? Why did you say it? At the end of the day, Larsa did not name names. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that anybody cared about the headlines about somebody on the cast biting Larsa. I think folks thought that it was clickbait. I didn't even hear the story. That's how insignificant it was. And again, I know that we're on a TV show. There has to be some drama and a big scene. But I really felt like Gertie was just dragging it at this point because it wasn't that deep. And I felt like she really just wanted to have a moment. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have to be honest. And she wore me thin in this scene with Larsa because I just felt like this argument should have been wrapped up in like 5 minutes, but it went on the remainder of the episode. So Gertie's still pressing Larsa about why did she say it anyway? And Larsa says, I was hurt when I got back, that's why. Now, Larsa, I call BS. Don't sit up here and lie. You know good and damn well that that bite was so light, like just stop. You know that you were not hurt when she gave you that little bite. I mean, come on. She probably didn't even get her teeth into your skin good. So please stop, like enough. So Gertie says, will the real Larsa stand up? Who are you right now? Larsa gets up and gets a drink. And then she says to Lisa that it takes a toll on her every time Gertie yells at her. And I said, Larsa, we're not going to pull Karen behavior like your best friend did in Mexico. So let's not. You are well equipped to go back and forth with anybody on this cast, even Gertie. So don't sit up here and act like, oh my gosh, it just takes a toll on me every time she yells at me. Because you do know that in this first half of the season, when Gertie read you down, it was well-deserved because you had no right to tell her business before she did. So now Lisa decides that she wants to stick up for her friend, and she walks over to Gertie and she says, Gertie, it was a joke. So Gertie snaps at Lisa. She's like, Lisa, be quiet. It's not a joke. Do you know what I went through today? Larsa walks back over and she's like, Gertie, I texted you. So when I tell y'all, Larsa and Gertie are screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. It is so bad that everybody at the party is watching them go at it. I would have been embarrassed. Lisa's like, this is so embarrassing. You guys stop it. This is not the time or the place. So Gertie says that tomorrow she gets her blood test and she starts chemo and how nobody would be doing what Larsa's doing. And then she says, you know what? I'm done. So just when you thought that things couldn't get more dramatic, Gertie takes off her hat and she's like, this is what I did today. And of course, she's showing them that she's now bald. Larsa says, I'm so sorry. And then you have Gertie saying that she thought they were friends. Now, if I'm being honest, when Gertie took her hat off to show that she was bald, it reminded me of when Aviva Drescher was on The Real Housewives of New York in season 6, and she took off her prosthetic leg in the finale episode. That's what that reminded me of. Honestly, if I were Larsa, I would have walked away and said, you know what, Gertie, you can have it. That's fine. I wouldn't have kept going back and forth. Larsa is somebody who likes getting the last word, and that's going to be her downfall. Now, throughout this argument, we see Russell looking over to make sure that his wife is okay. At this point, Russell walks over now to get Gertie, and he's like, babe, come here. Why do you even deal with this? You don't need this in your life. Like, let's go. So now Larsa's yelling, and now Russell says, Larsa, please stop. Like, leave my wife alone. Be respectful. And Larsa says, Russell, it was a joke. It was a joke. And you have Russell saying, girl, like, be respectful. Like, not my wife. Now, I thought it was touching to see Russell stand up for his woman and say, come on, babe, let's get out of here. He was respectful. He didn't curse at Larsa. He just let her know, calm down. Take the bass out of your voice. That's my wife you're speaking to. Like, calm it down. I like how he tried to de-escalate stuff and just tried to get his wife out of there. But in all seriousness, though, this did not have to be a full-blown fight. So Gertie and Russell are outside. You have Lisa running after them. Now Nicole and Kiki go after them. And Lisa's trying to get Gertie to come back in. Nicole's like, Lisa, that's my best friend. Leave her alone. She needs some time to regroup. Like, be quiet. And I was here for it because Lisa was just hollering like, Gertie, 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 come here, like, come back. And I said, Lisa, that's not needed. So we see back inside, Larsa's talking to Alexia, and she says that she's tired of Gertie always blaming her. Now we see Lisa go back in, and now she's talking about her divorce again. And I said, Lisa, girl, I don't know how many times to say this, but we have officially checked out when it comes to you and Lenny. We don't care anymore. And I caught that comment that Lisa made when she said that she's so thankful that she caught Jody while she's still in her prime, because God forbid if this happened to her 10 years down the road or 20 years later, she wouldn't catch a Jody. And I said, Lisa, you sound kind of ignorant because there are women who are in their 50s and 60s who look amazing, and they have men coming after them. So I was just like, yeah, girl, you sound silly to act like 50 and 60 is dried up. Look at your best friend. Larsa's 49, 50, and she's dating Michael Jordan's son. And you also strike me as somebody who's very vain, and I couldn't see you letting yourself go no matter how old you are. So I said, girl, I think you'd be fine even if this did happen 10 years or 20 years later. And if you don't stop talking about Lenny, you're going to run Jody away and anybody else who comes by, because no man's going to put up with this. So we see that Gertie has calmed down. She's back inside. And now Adriana finally comes out and she performs her newest song. And the song sounded cute. You have Adriana talking about she's a bad bitch. I said, okay, girl, come through. But Adriana looked amazing. And you see Emilio Estefan right there in the crowd. I said, I said, where's Gloria? But we end the finale episode with everybody's closing montages. We see that Kiki is raising her kids while still booking modeling jobs. Then we see that Marisol renewed her vows in Scotland, even though they're still not legally married. I mean, I guess, congratulations. If Marisol likes it, then I love it. Then we see that Dr. Nicole is expecting her second child, and they're still renovating their new house. And her dad, unfortunately, passed away in November. So now we go on over to Alexia. She and Todd took a romantic vacation, I think to Italy, and she bought herself a new Ferrari.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
We see that Julia is committed to living life to the fullest, and how her and Martina are still trying to adopt a child. I don't know how they're going to manage a small child at their ages and then a full-fledged farm where she has all those animals. That's a lot, but I said, listen, God bless. So we see that Larsa and Marcus are talking about marriage, but Marcus has yet to introduce Larsa as his girlfriend to Michael Jordan. But you guys are the same people who said that Michael Jordan approves of your relationship. So if that's the case, then why haven't you said that's my girlfriend to your dad? I don't believe one word. I think that they're both embarrassed and they know good and well that Michael does not approve of this. But anyhow, we now move on to Lisa. We see that Lisa is in her new condo while waiting for her new house to be built, and that Lenny is now contesting their settlement. And now we end the finale with Gertie going to her first chemo treatment, and now we see that 127 days later, Gertie is cancer-free and she beat it.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, God.
I was happy to hear that. I was at BravoCon where Gertie announced that she was cancer-free. We all stood up and cheered because that's amazing. I'm happy for her. And I really hope that next season, Gertie has an easier time. I hope that she's more at ease. I hope that things aren't as heightened because now she has a clean bill of health and she can just be calmer and breathe easier. But y'all, that was my double recap. I have to say, Miami brought it. It was a great season. My only complaints, next time, please give Miami their own night. Don't put them behind Beverly Hills because they really suffered. I just think that it's a lot when you put two franchises together on the same night. Let every franchise get their own day. But all in all, Miami did a great job, and I'm looking forward to this reunion. I can already tell it's going to be some mess. I can already feel it. You have Larsa talking about Julia likes black men's penises. I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, child, a mess. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.